See the bold new expression of sporty style. Hear the amazing quietness of a truly luxurious cabin. Feel the exceptional horsepower and amazing torque, and experience greater acceleration than ever before. Behold, the most powerful sedan in its class. The new Toyota Camry. Real power, absolute performance. Discover the new Camry.
Discover a new Camry, discovering Pattaya, Thailand, wherever you are around the world. Thank you for joining us down here on the podcast today. In the studio, Emil, welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon, David.
Now, for you guys out there that have not seen Emil before, we're going to be talking about addictions, and Emil is going to be talking about his addiction, which is gambling, or was his addiction, gambling, correct?
Correct.
And he's got a lot of big balls, let me tell you, to talk about as well. So full admiration to you, sir. What I want to know is this, Emil. Let's go straight into it. And you know, we've got a 30-minute slot that we want to get in and get out to the people as well, because there's a lot of people out there that will be listening to this. For you, gambling, where did it all start?
Where did it start? I was born, and gambling was here before I came. My father, he was Czech. He was a musician. We lived together, threw my mother out, and it was just him and I. And he, those expats maybe would remember a thing called The Winner, and I used to keep his booklets in chronological order. But the seeds were already set, and I was just due to jump in when I was ready.
Into the gambling?
Into the gambling. I started at when I was 21, and I finished when I did 20 years, 41, 42.
21 is a little bit late on to start gambling, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of people today, especially in Thailand, as we know, you know, the teens plus.
Now it is.
Yeah.
It's really projected forward now with the state of the art and the mobile and where they can get it. And it's prolific.
Was it easy? I mean, in your day, when you first started, where did you have to go to gamble?
To a betting shop.
To a betting shop. Simple as that.
And they actually wrote, I know now that they have screens, but now it was actually written by hand, the results, et cetera, et cetera. And I reflect now on my days in the betting shop, et cetera.
Would you say this? I mean, I'm sort of like I'm a bystander to what you say, and I admire what you say, and for coming forward about it. Is gambling and not gambling, is it like a chocolate cake that you can't eat no more?
Gambling is an emotional disorder.
Okay,
for me, it wasn't the drink. I'd get drunk just like the boys would in the day, back in the day. It was never drugs, but gamble. I gambled for the world. I gambled 24/7 for 20 years.
Wow.
And that's actually, I heard a story the other day. I'll interject here that a friend of mine outside of GA, and this is talking about longevity of time and what people can do. He met this guy. Invariably, the subject of gambling comes up, and then got my ears. He's relating the tale to me. So he said to the guy, he said, "How long have you been at it?" And this guy says, casually, 52 years. So I think, okay. And I've been around the GA table, the Gamblers Anonymous table, for many years, and he says, you can't win, And I would have gambled on what he was going to say, but I wouldn't have done. And he just shrugged his shoulders and said, I might as well carry on then. So I conceive he started when he was 20. He's over 70. He's been at it 52 years, achieved nothing. Therefore, he will get in his wooden jacket in the coffin. He will look back and have achieved absolutely
nothing.
Nothing. Zilch. Zero.
But what is the okay for a non-gambler, which I am? I mean, I've had a flutter.
Yes.
We all there's a difference, isn't there? I mean, we all had a flutter. I've been to the dogs. I've had £100 in my pocket. You know, I'm going to spend it at the dogs. When the £100's gone, I go home. It's as simple as that. With gambling, like you do, you can't go home, can you? No. You've got to carry on.
It's perennial. It was 20 years, 24/7. It was cards one day, horses and dogs the next. I'd win 5,000, I'd lose 7, I'd win, and I say that in inverted because I hear that. I go around Gamblers Anonymous meetings, I Zoom meeting all around the world, and people say, I won, and I think that's like stinking thinking. And I try and say, no, there's no such thing.
Do you think that's like it's like a aphrodisiac? I mean, it's like an aphrodisiac. It's like in your head, you're saying, I won. You know, it gives you that little bit of adrenaline flow, but you don't sit there and go, I lost, do you? No. You know, they always say, I won. But they put out what they've lost.
You never hear the losses. You only hear the euphoric wins. Oh, how wonderful. And I see people now in my mind's eye going around showing the slips, the ticket, oh, I won.
Sure.
But then next day they bring back their winnings as such and give it back, plus a bonus.
I think like you, the winning thing and showing, it happens a lot in Thailand. You know, it happens a lot. The lottery is one of them where, you know, they win 2,000 baht, for example, but they don't tell you it's taken them 3 years to win 2,000 baht.
I know.
You know, that's one of the things. Of course, you know, the cards are existent here, and of course, it's the 20 baht game, but of course, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. What, in the day when you did your gambling, I mean, what would be a normal day for you? And also, where did you get the money to gamble?
Well, I was working. I actually reflected the other day a story. When you get older, I'm well over the age. You reflect back on instances. I was a builder. I was a chemist. I worked for Aspro Nicholas in 225 Bath Road, Slough. And your memory is quite crystal clear about what I did. And I reflected the other day. We were laying these concrete blocks. They weren't 9-inch, they were 18-inch. They had an ear at each end where you could only go up 6 course. And when we went above 6 course, there were 2 of us to lift these blocks up to the line to do the 8 course. And I did a whole week of that, laying blocks. And I can remember, and I could probably take you to where I think I earned £460 that week. And I did the lot in 20 minutes. And it's just, and being around GA all these years, I could tell you stories, David. You'd say possibly that's not quite true.
I believe you 100%. But what's the, you know, number one is the upside of it is you're all up in the air going, great, fantastic, in your own going gambling. And it really gives you that drive and the euphoria and all that kind of thing and takes you up there. But what happens after 20 minutes after you've lost it all? What do you think then?
When you're going out the betting shop door, you know the bookmaker has steam cleaned you yet again. And I try and get out of the betting shop without him seeing me. And I know that he knows that he's had me yet again. And then I go to another betting shop. But the feeling of going out into sunlight, absolutely potless, there's no feeling quite like that. Then I have to steal. Then I have to get money. No different to drugs, no different to alcohol. I have to have money I get it by any means possible. So I could get back in action again and continue the perpetual merry-go-round of madness.
Did you lose more than you earned from it? That's a good question.
Does the Pope got a pointed hat and do bears do poop in the forest?
Yeah.
You weren't aware of it. The damage I did was immeasurable. I've got an elder daughter now. We get on admirably. They suffered. The people suffer beyond.
Well, you don't see that though, do you?
No, you don't.
When you're doing what you're doing, and I know this from talking to other people before with addictions, and this is why I don't know about the gambling one, which is great to talk to you about it. And in my head, I can sort of compare things, you know. And I do know I spoke to somebody that drank all the time, and he didn't realize that he had a fantastic family, but totally destroyed them, totally, you know. And he didn't realize that until later on in life when it was too late.
Where you said, where did it start? I'll tell you briefly about that. It was in 83 in a betting shop in High Wycombe, 250 to 1. And if this was in the GA room now, I wouldn't relate the odds because you don't. That could infuse anybody just fresh in the door. And that was a pivotal moment in my life that I thought, hang on a minute, this is a scam. So I had 20 years, right up to that moment, 250 to 1s came up. That very moment, I said to myself, and I could probably take you to the spot where I said it and I heard it and felt it, and I thought, this is a scam. And then I pondered that weekend. I came down on a Monday morning, down the stairs, turned left in the kitchen, in my friend's house. I don't know where he was. And his wife was there, and I said, Diana, I've got to do something about my gambling. I always think, what if only 150 to 1? Would I be sat here now? And the story is, I've travelled now. I'm clean, 36 years and 2 months.
Wow.
And travelled the world and had a wonderful life because that moment came up. But it's like the guy I spoke to about 52 years. He hadn't got the answer. I had the answer. It lay within me. I don't do God. I'm an atheist. But I had the answer. And Gamblers Anonymous, I picked up the phone, and his name was Len Kay, and he said, come on up. And I went up to North London in an orange Beetle. I remember the registration. And I met him, and that was my first venture into recovery. GA didn't have, or any Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous have the answer. It had the way. I had the need. I wanted the need. I had the need and the want to go and get my life.
Was that the pinnacle moment in saying I don't want to do this no more?
That was.
I want to get out of this.
So pivot. There wasn't a moment like that, or ever likely to be a moment like that. And it's absolutely, people say, oh, that was godlike. I said, no, it was just a higher power moment in my life. And
realization.
And it came about, and I just simply picked up the phone on the Monday, and the journey began. And you couldn't write what I've done in the last 30-odd years.
What's your biggest loss?
I used to bet £1,000 at a time.
And we're talking in what year?
Oh, we were back in, I stopped in I picked up the phone in 83. I stopped in 88.
You picked up the phone in 83?
And stopped in 88. I muddled my way through. I reflect, was I not gambling or not? I went to live in America at 87. I lived there for a year. And coming back to the UK, and I knew I was going to gamble. And early January in 88, I thought, hang on a minute, I've been here before. On the 7th of January is when I said, that's it. So I started a meeting in Slough Library. I moved to Wraysbury, and it still goes to this day, and I started other meetings.
But how do you, you say you gambled for 20 30 years?
20 years, yeah.
20 years. So you gambled for 20 years. Basically, you're pissing all your money away.
Can you imagine?
You're destroying everybody's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you deal with your life on a day-to-day basis? Where did you live? How did you survive? How did you eat? All the fundamentals, the normal stuff that we have to do in a day-to-day routine, you've still got to do that. But then on top of that, you've got the added pressure that you've got to lay a bet on.
Yeah, there you go. That was GA. They have you're in recovery, and they have a booklet, the GA booklet, probably I think we took it from Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's 12 steps of recovery. And the first step was step 1. I was powerless over gambling, and my life was unmanageable. When I sat down and read that, it was like a revelation. It was a eureka, a boom moment. And then I realized what I did for 20 years. Then obviously I've got to stop. And I kept continually going to GA and doing my bit. And it just slowly seeps into you. You become truthful. It's so lovely to be truthful.
I think one thing is that a lot of people do in all addictions, and a lot of things who have depression and all these kind of things. And I have depression. But at the end of the day, they try and deal with everything themselves in their own head. So they're not talking to people. They're not venting how they feel. They're not venting what they want to do or how they want to do it. And I think one of the biggest things that anybody can do, whatever meeting it is, like we're talking GA today, whatever meeting it is, once you sit down and start talking to people that have got the similar thing to what you have or the same thing you have, and you start listening to them and they're telling you their story, you're thinking, wow, man, you're crazy. Why did you do that? And then people listen to you and they go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think the realization kicks in, yes?
When you're amongst others,
yes,
perfect there, that when you're amongst others that have done what you've done and you've done what they've done, then the growth begins, and life. It's the good book, the Gambler's Anonymous book, said enjoy, and it's as simple as that. People really make a hard work. I say I struggle and this and that, and I hope. I said sorry, hope's not good enough. You have to want, you have to need, and have a life. And
but surely as well, within that period of 20 years, it must have been at sometimes so depressing and so much torture.
I did prison because of it. Stole things, and et cetera, and all.
Prison because of what? You stole things to get the money to pay for the addiction.
No shame in telling you that.
No.
And it's learning, a learning curve. You always.
But how did you cope? How long was you in there for?
I did periods of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
But how did you cope when you was in a prison cell, and you couldn't gamble?
You defer it. You know you're going to do it when you come out.
So you're looking forward to it?
Yeah, we're not looking. You're looking forward to getting out, but then you know in your mind's eye that you're going to go back to where you left off, because I hadn't got the message. I hadn't got the shift in my thinking. Yes. And once the shift comes, it's as simple as that. I used to shout at my feet. I told my partner, I think, what are you doing? I said, I'm shouting at my feet so they don't take me gambling. And then she realised it. But I always I'm in GA now a long time, and I try and share with people and say, this is the way I did it. Everybody, each to their own.
Everybody's got their own way of dealing with things.
It is. But you've got to have the need and the want. It's as simple as that. The answer, I haven't got to go up Everest backwards with a bag of cement on my head or fight 10 grizzly bears. I just got to make a decision every day not to gamble. I still am a compulsive gambler because I say that. I haven't gambled for 36 years. It doesn't bother me. I have no pressure going out. I know where I can gamble. Maybe less so because I'm in Thailand. If I was back in the UK, of course I can.
Well, it's on every corner, isn't it?
It is.
What about in the society that we're in today? Not just Thailand, the world. Yeah, society today is it's on tap, isn't it, to everybody? Gambling is on everything. It's on the internet. It's on it's on the phones. It's on the TV. It's on every corner. I mean, it
is more prolific than ever before.
Absolutely.
And it's my frustration. It's allowed, and they know it's an income of vast resources. The woman who started Betfred, right? Yeah. They give her a knighthood or something the other day.
Yeah.
Do you know how much she gave herself?
No.
400 up. She paid herself last year or the year before. You can see it. I don't know her name. £480 million for the year. Her husband's on the board, and they gave her for accommodation. For me, no say, no way.
And we know that the only person that wins, of course, is the establishment. We know that anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
the word it's gamble. The word in itself, it's a gamble. The outcome is uncertain. It's a gamble.
I don't think you'll ever change the human race in the way of gambling.
No.
It'll always be there. Number two is I think that people that gamble in moderation and do it for fun and then can walk away and say that was a good night and never do it again for another month or 2 months or
people like that.
Whatever. I mean, I think that's okay. But then it's like everything, isn't it? There's people that are addicted to Coca-Cola. There's people that are addicted to many things in life. A woman the other day, all she ate all her life was cheese. She wouldn't eat any other food. She's just addicted to cheese. Same as gambling, same as alcohol. All these kind of things, these addictions are around us every day, but it's how you deal with it. And when you're saying about the gamble and somebody says, I hope that I'll control it. Yeah. You can't say hope.
No,
You've got to say, I will.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, yeah?
Hope gets blown out the window.
Yeah.
And when you achieve freedom, I have daily, and I think my personal view is I have it over on normal people than I really. I've been to hell and back. I really have.
Sure.
And I have it over on normal people. I have a better understanding of feeling and life. That's just my perverted view, but I've been there.
Do you think when you was gambling, you was numb to everything else then?
Oh, you're in a bubble.
Yeah,
you're in a bubble. We call it like a fog bubble, and
sure.
I couldn't put my foot through the wall. But when I put my foot through the wall, I thought, "Oh, this is easy. Well, there's life here, and I'm in it." And it's once you're in it, and you look back and think, "Well, did I do that?" And then you have to make amends to repatriate yourself with your family and your friends and your business and everything I destroyed. And Christ, did I destroy?
I think everybody in brackets has a gamble at some time or another.
Yes.
In whatever way they do it, be it the lottery or be it whatever. But the people that are controlling, let's say, the lottery, for example. Let's say the lottery in Thailand. They go, okay, we're going to do the lottery once a month. They said that's what they were going to do. You know, there's 90 odd million tickets printed. There's 70 million live in Thailand. Blah blah blah. And for the money that you pay to play the lottery in Thailand, the amount of money that you win compared to the rest of the world is peanuts. But they play it. But then they've seen that everybody in Thailand and most Thais like a gamble. So they did it twice a month now.
Yes.
To make money. The amount of money they're making off it is incredible. And like we say, the only people that win the money is the establishment. It's the people that are in charge.
What they do see, obviously in Thailand, they see the Thai way of, they may be not so well off or fortuitous in their thinking that they can give them this carrot stick and they like it, and you can see the vehement way that they choose choose these lottery tickets and incorporate in their way of life and living. I think gambling started thousands of years ago.
Thousands and thousands.
And the Paleolithic, and then the Chinese at 2,000 years BC, and then it is where it is now. But it's the power of it's astronomical.
In Thailand, of course, I mean, I've got friends in Thailand that, you know, they go out to work, they do their thing. You know, the foreigner guy goes out, he does his work, he's got his company and all that. And his wife's at home and she's done the cleaning and she's bored. Then the people come round, or she goes round theirs, and they start playing cards and messing about. I've got friends that have paid 300,000 or 400,000 baht bins for cards. Really? You know, I mean, there's quite a few of them actually.
Yes.
And you know, some have stayed with their wife because they love them, but they can't get them out of this addiction. No. You know, I mean, the addiction in Thailand for gambling is massive. I don't care what anybody says. We all know that it's there. The establishment knows it's there. They've now got a board of 34 people who are in charge of gambling because the casinos are going to come to Thailand. 100%. There's casinos here already in Pattaya. You know, so at the end of the day, what they're saying, or one of the things I read doing the news, was the foreign people can go into the establishments, the casinos, and all they just need is like their ID and away they go. Yeah. The Thais have to have a membership card. Because the Thais go in there, they've got to prove they've got the money to gamble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know in Thailand when you do like the World Cup, everybody gambles. All the Thais gamble. I mean, you know, you go to the bank and they will show you a vault. And in that vault is probably 100 or 200 or 300 shanuts from around here that people lost their house on the World Cup. I mean, it gets that prolific. It's crazy. It's a bad situation, isn't it?
It's they can see the Thai way, and they're just so vulnerable. It's just like they're just reeling them in, hooking them, reeling them in, destroying them. Yeah. Next, and I got no feeling or no moral.
That's it.
Turpitude towards these people.
It's a conveyor belt system. Yeah. It is a conveyor belt system. You know, you come in and they take your money, they rape you, and when they finish with you, they kick you out, and it's the next one. And the next one, and that's Las Vegas and all that. It's the same, isn't it? I mean, you know, you watch these people on thing, and there's a guy on there. I've been banned from every casino because I win. Huh. He says, I don't count cards. I don't do anything. He says, I play to win. I play the cards. He says, but I've been booted out of every casino because I've taken absolutely millions from them. I started with 100 grand. I'm now into 40 million that I've taken out of these casinos. They won't let me in the door no more. So as soon as they get that little bit of a hint that somebody's good at something, they kick them out. They stop it because they know they're going to lose money, and all they want to do is win money. Yeah. And
I wonder if you could start Gamblers Anonymous here. I wonder.
In Thailand.
I wonder.
I think in Thailand.
It had crossed my mind.
Well, the thing is this.
Whether it be allowed, they probably wouldn't allow it. I don't know.
Well, they have the helplines, don't they? But I mean, Gamblers Anonymous, I don't know. Because, you know, as we know, in Thailand, gambling is illegal. So how can you have a Gamblers Anonymous when gambling is illegal? Same as sex is illegal and prostitution is illegal. You know, it all exists. We know it does. But I think, I mean, would the foreign people that live here, be it from any country in the world, would they go to a Gamblers Anonymous here? My answer to that is probably no. No. The Thais, if you had a Gamblers Anonymous,
too perplexing for them, maybe. The thought of them being seen in a room.
Losing face.
Yep.
Losing face. They wouldn't lose face. I would say no again to that one. So my answer would be probably no, it wouldn't work here. Things like the suicide line, suicide watch, and all these things do work because they do. They say my brother, and they ring up and all these things. But when it comes to gambling, I mean, there's a horse racing in Bangkok, isn't there? And there's all the different things they do, the chickens and all those they gamble on. They gamble on everything. That's the you did as well. I mean, you'd gamble on anything, wouldn't you? I mean, two ants running down a plank, you'd probably gamble on.
The very same.
Yeah.
XW Reg car coming around the corner.
But did you see an odd, the odds of whatever in anything that you see in around you?
I never. No, it was just simply in the word gamble. When it's and the outcome was uncertain, it didn't matter to me. I was on it. I was in action. I was happy. I was oblivious to the pain, immense pain I was dishing out. I felt nothing. I was immune. I was numb.
Do you think it's that tunnel vision, yeah?
Like you said, I was numb to it. But only the very moment I went to a GA room and sat down and thinking, I just did 20 years. And I didn't realise I did 20 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time
52 years, that guy. He did 52, and he's still doing it. I assume. I would hope, for me, vehemently, that he could stop.
I don't think he'll stop.
Correct. You can never say never, but it just shows the gravity of where it can take you. If you're going to gamble for 52 years out of 72 years of your life, and then get in and achieve nothing. That normal people say, well, that's mad. But no, that's gambling.
No, that's where I'm saying. Normal people would say that's mad and say you're crazy and why you're doing that. But of course, when you're doing it yourself, I mean, I can't compare it because I don't know about it. But I'm just thinking, when you've got that tunnel vision and your mind sets on gambling, you don't see anything else.
I think Einstein said the definition of madness is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And it never came. And actually, sitting here, it just what I did is just flashing through. I could talk. We have 30 minutes. I could talk for 30 years. But
we're gonna be talking again. This is part one of Gamblers Anonymous.
That's fine.
With you, just to let people know. And of course, what we'll do on you guys out there, what we'll do is we'll put the YouTube up. We'll put some information on there. I'll put my email on there. And if you want to know anything, then we can pass it on to you. Yeah,
that'd be fine.
If we help one person. I mean, sometimes I think myself, the biggest step is making the first step.
Yeah. And the first bet is the one to avoid. But when you sit down and find whatever their names are, and you just say, and you have to talk right down into yourself, and no more crap to others here. Just say, right, I am going to stop. I want help. Where is help? And then you make the first tentative step into life. And you're only here 70 years and 10.
Yeah.
And when you make that journey and then you see what the journey gives you, it's absolutely wonderful.
So you must have been lying on a daily basis, though.
I lied and lied
on a daily basis.
I lied to cover and in the end, I believed my own lies.
Yeah.
And now I live in a camper van in Crete when I'm not here, and I have these smile moments. And it's a naturist beach, and I get up early at my camper, and I'm right on the beach, and I go and stand in the sea. The sun's coming high on my left, and these moments of just total gratitude and thinking,
well done.
Exactly. Oh my Buddha, what one phone call can change one's
Did
life.
You have a question for me?
Go on.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
No.
I know where you are, and I'm in the zone. Did you have anything around where you live now, or anything in your apartment or your van or anything? Have you got anything that says anything to you, like a sign or something? Like this one behind you. Like as you can read up here. Have you got something like that in front of you that reminds you all the time?
No, I have it in. I have it in my heart and my mind.
Yeah.
I have an inbuilt insurance. I know where gambling is, etc., etc. I briefly say my daughter, with her boyfriend, have got into. She divorced from her partner and got Bitcoin. And she's made a vast amount of money. And she said, Daddy, I think I've got your genes. I said, well, you want some of this? I said, Shelley, no, that's gambling. And I'm really happy for her. And she's drawn out and done and done that or done whatever. But not for me. I would feel so unclean. I'm happy.
No, Bitcoin in a way is gambling.
Oh, yes.
In my eyes, definitely.
Yes. The outcome is that. She's made a vast amount of money and she's comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's for her, and I don't want part of it. I'm happy with my own lot. I have a few pence, happy in my own soul, happy in my skin.
I think that's good. I mean, in a way, that's like therapy when you say to yourself, right, today I've got to eat this, I'm going to eat that, I've got to drink this, drink that, so I need 250 baht, for example.
Yes.
And you put it down on the table and say, that's my money today, that's for me to survive today. And then you've got nothing, no overspill. So there's never anything there. I mean, surely at some time or another, you've had cravings. There must be a craving or a thought and that wants to push you off to one direction and go, well, if I just do that, but how do you deal with those kind of things?
I hear what you say. It's you hear it all the time. I jump on GA meetings all around the world. America in the morning, Australia in the afternoon, English with obviously a 7-hour difference, and you hear it all the time. Back to the need and the want.
Right.
You have to want your life, and I hear people, they relapse. They call it relapse. For me, a relapse is where you haven't changed deep down in. You said, I want to stop. That's not enough.
Yeah,
you got to want more than want to stop.
Sure.
And it's as simple as that. Make a simple choice to yourself, and adhere to it. If you can't do it for 24 hours, do it for 6, for 1, for 1 minute.
Make the move.
All
right, what we're going to do, we're going to make a move now. This is part 1 of 2 parts, okay? So thanks, Mel, for joining me today.
Thank you, David.
Okay, we're gonna come back, guys. We're going to do part 2. We're going to go a little bit deeper, and, of course, also we're going to be answering your requests. So there we go. So thanks a lot, guys. Bye, yeah?